Welcome, Cancer, to your reading for the second half of October. Today we're doing the 12 house spread as always, and in your first house of identity and self, all things of your essence, the Magician card has come up. So that's an amazing start, I think. And I've always just somehow associated the Magician with Cancer. I'm not sure where that influence is coming from, but there's something about it, the transformational energy that Cancerians can embody. But being in the first house, it's about basically you are in this space of manifestation at this time. It's a really good time for you, Cancer. So let's see what the clarifier says and how you can pair that best.
Beautiful. You've got the Queen of Wands, which is you, Cancer. I was going to say us because spoiler, M and I, Cancers too.
Queen of
So this
Cups.
shows up in
Queen of
your,
Cups.
yeah, Queen of Cups. Did I say that? What did I say?
Wands.
Oh, sorry, Cancer.
That's okay.
Queen of Cups. Yeah, so this is you, Cancer. So this is about your mastery over your emotions. You're comfortable with the exploration of your deep emotions, following your heart. And this is your essence. And this is showing up in your first house of self identification, essence, who you truly are. So I get the sense that you get this about yourself and you're really comfortable with you being you. So I feel like you're being more you now, Cancer.
Yeah. What a great start to this reading. I'm so happy and excited for myself and you, Fran.
Yeah.
In the second house, we have the Four of Cups. So the second house is all about values, resources, your skills, things that you bring to build your abundance. And the Four of Cups is it's like an offering coming through and you're looking at it and you're like, nah, I've been here before. I don't want to take it. I'm not going to go down that road again. However, when this card shows up, it's saying, even though it looks the same, it's not going to be the same. Pay attention to whatever offer comes through in a cloud. I wonder if we're going to get an ace card in this reading. So we'll see how that emerges. But it's about not forgetting what's come in the past, but using it to the biggest advantage. So let's see what the clarifier says, Fran.
Yeah, clarify is the Five of Wands. So this is conflict, competition, and I get the sense in your second house of what you're resourced with and your values, that what you're resourced with is a healthy sense of competition and a capacity to handle conflict well. And this serves you and this creates your abundance, which is what the second house is all about. So you're using your healthy sense of competition and learning from the competition to bring about your abundance. So looking good for you, Cancer.
Awesome. In the third house of communication, ideas, you have the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords is, I mean, like I'm seeing clouds again, so maybe this is connected somehow to the second house. But the Page of Swords is looking over his shoulder and realizing there's an alternative to what is already happening. You don't have to follow the path. You don't have to be a sheep, Cancer, in the way you've been communicating or the ideas putting forward. Not saying that you have been, but it's a nice reminder to check out how can I do things differently? How can I kind of lean into what's not necessarily acceptable? Because when we do that, we actually create paradigm shifts, and there's only ever change when we do something daring. So maybe this is a time for you to communicate in a bit more of an authentic way, and that connects to the first house placements as well of the Magician and that deeply intuitive card of the self, the Queen of Cups. So yeah, how can things be done differently? Let's see how the clarifier speaks to that.
Wow, the clarifier is coming up in your house of communication with the Three of
Mm.
Swords. So a three in your third house. So that double of the same number is just some validation coming through from the universe. I get the sense with this that you have healed your heart, and the work that you've done around that is serving you to strengthen your communication. All of that healing, all of that work that you've done is deepening your communication, it's coming through your communication, and people are sitting up and knowing that you're speaking from experience. So, and I think as Em was saying, like leaning into curiosity and what's different, and also what's different about yourself, just recognizing, like, yeah, I've done the work, I've healed, I've got something to say. I feel like this is a great strength for you, Cancer.
Great, very promising. In the fourth house, your house, Cancer, you've got the Page of Pentacles, and this is the house of all things familiar. It can be family of origin and chosen family too. I keep feeling like I have to swallow over and over again. I don't know why. Anyway, the Page of Pentacles is about enthusiasm. It's about following your passion and what you're energized by. And the pages are always representative of newness. It can be kind of like naive or innocent energy, but it's not completely naive, because when we follow the wheel of like the whole suite of the tarot, it starts with a fool. And the fool doesn't have completely no experiences. He carries the experiences of his past life with him. So similarly with the Page of Pentacles, that's about where are you feeling like drawn to newness in the energy of the home? What's familiar? Do you need to shake things up? Do things need to change a little bit so that it's refreshed? And I'm getting a sense that because it's the Pentacles, it may have to do with physical environment. Do you need to change that somehow? Moving or just designing it differently? I'm getting the sense of that. Let's see what the clarifier says there.
Interesting you say newness, Anne, because the Ace of Wands is all about newness. It's very much out with the old, in with the new. So showing up in your fourth house of home, family, what's familiar, how you make yourself at home in the world. Yeah, a call to newness, a call to follow your inspiration and just go with new energy. Just being willing to leave the past behind is what I get there. So kind of exciting new beginning, and a call to expansion, Cancer. Really nice for you.
Yeah, and totally knew that an ace would emerge in this reading, because so far, just looking at the four cards in front of me, they're all got to do with this like fresh manifestation energy. So very exciting. In the fifth house, we have the Eight of Cups. The fifth house is about creative self-expression. It's about the inner child connection to that fresh energy. Again, creative expression through leaving something behind that needs to be let go. So Cancer, where are you experiencing a bit of grief with the way you're expressing yourself, and what you find allows you to be creative? And it may be in a kind of a hobby, or it could even just be creative problem solving. What sorts of things are you doing where you're like, this isn't working anymore, I really need to just chuck it out? Like maybe not completely, but at least walk away from it, to start afresh. And with that walking away and that grieving, you'll experience that transformation into a better way to creatively express yourself. So let's see what the clarifier says about that.
Queen of Swords. Beautiful. Cancer, showing up in your fifth house of creative expression, is asking you to get bolshy around your creative expression. So the fifth house is ruled by Leo. So it's kind of asking you to be a bit of a Leo, let your light shine, show off, I feel, because the Queen of Swords is about clarity. The clouds are halfway down her body and she can see clearly for the first time. And she's got her hand out ready to accept the offer, whatever that might be. So I feel like there could be an offer coming in for you around creative expression, being more creative in some way. You are deeply creative, Cancer, deeply, deeply creative. And we can tend to be a little bit shy, but I feel like go for it, leave behind the shyness. Maybe that's the old energy that you need to kind of outgrow and leave behind a little bit without dishonoring it or making it wrong, and just stepping into this bolshy energy of creative expression, whatever that means for you. If you are working on a creative project at this time, Cancer, I feel like there's going to be new clarity, a new life being breathed into it.
Exciting. Right. And then in the sixth house of discernment and work and making decisions, you have the Lovers card. This is the card for Gemini showing up in the sixth house now. So maybe there's a Gemini coming up at work, or something you have to make a decision about. But also the Lovers card is about relationships, and it could be relationship to the self, to someone else, or just relationships between choices. We're in relationship to everything around us all the time. So being in the sixth house, I guess it's kind of asking what's coming up at work, or whether you have to make a decision about something important or not. That's feeling a bit dualistic, like black and white, or maybe this or that. Can you broaden that perspective a little bit and make it more nuanced? Is there an alternative route to where you need to go? And I'm just noticing even now, just looking at the card, it's like a reference to the biblical theme of Adam and Eve. But we know that's one perspective of how the world was created. I think it's kind of asking as well, how do you tap into like the universal wisdom? And we know the story of Eve is that she went to the forbidden fruit and the snake was like, hey, you should look at this thing and try it out. And God was not happy about that. But it also allowed women's empowerment and also wisdom through her experience. So where is that kind of emerging at work for you, Cancer? And how is that coming up in the way you have to make a decision? Let's see what the clarifier says with that.
I also think maybe who's showing up in the workplace for you. I don't know if perhaps a little romance might be potentially emerging for you in the workplace. Got your eye on someone? Someone got their eye on you, Cancer. Our clarifier is upside down and is the Ten of Cups. So
Yeah.
great success for you and recognition and completion in the workplace is what I get there for you, Cancer. So well done. You're getting recognition and success around whatever it is that you're putting your work into. Good
Yeah.
stuff, Cancer.
Cool. And then moving into the seventh house of relationships and partnerships, the death card is all about letting go of something that needs to be let go of. I know we were saying that in the fifth house as well. But now maybe there's something that's emerging in your relationships as well, a pattern that needs to be challenged or something coming to an ending. And endings are always seen with a stigmatized perspective, I think. Well, not always, but often they can be, and it can feel daunting or scary. But really, it's just about rebirth and reconnection, kind of like Phoenix rising from the flames of when we have an ending, we have a boundary, we have structure to our experiences, and then we can appreciate the start of something new. So, is that for you, Cancer, something around a pattern within a relationship that needs to end? Is it the relationship itself that needs to be shifted and changed or ended? Or is this a relationship to yourself as well? What's been happening for you that you know this really needs to stop? And this is your time now in this next fortnight to make that happen. Let's see what the clarifier says you can do about that.
Beautiful card. Ten of Pentacles in your seventh house of relationships. So this is everything you could wish for, hope, and desire. So maybe when you make these adjustments to your relationship, it is going to bring through this new sense of how you want it to be. If you're single and looking for love or looking for some additional love, if that's the kind of relationship that you have, yeah, looks like somebody really special is on the horizon for you, Cancer. So a lot of positive outcomes for you, Cancer, in the realm of relationship and also relationship with self. I get the sense. Maybe a little bit of falling in love with you, and that's reflected in your outer relationships. Very nice.
Very exciting. Okay, so we've got the seventh house. Now in the eighth house, Cancer, we've got the strength card. And that strength card is actually there's an infinity symbol above this person and the same as the magician in the first house. So maybe there's a link there. Yeah, so the eighth house strength is what maybe you're needing at this time, Cancer, to transform. Because the eighth house is about transformation, I think it's not something that's going to come easily. Fran's still going.
I'm still going. I'm just laughing. It's just some energy coming up. I think it's you, Cancer. I think you
Okay.
really just need this kind of release that I'm experiencing.
I can see all
Because
the
I'm a
teary
Cancer
eyes.
too. Yeah, I'm going teary eyes from the laughter. Yeah, and laughter is a great release. So let's release together.
Yeah. Let's do that. All right. So I think that's it. That's all I've got to say for the eighth house of the strength card. What does the clarifier say there, friend?
Yeah, beautiful. Oh, lovely. You've got the Ace of Swords. So this is some inspiration coming in for you. The Ace of Swords is also a card of great focus and clarity. And I think this is going to enable you, Cancer, to have the transformation that you need. So, I was laughing a lot before, and I think that might be Cancer because you do need to. I was just kind of laughing at nothing. I pulled my sock up, and for some reason that was hilarious. But I get the sense that, yeah, have a release, whether it be laughter, crying, being silly, and this will bring about the transformation that you really need. Sometimes we kind of hold our emotions, being Cancerian, we can hold our emotions a little bit too tightly, and sometimes we just need to let rip.
Yeah, I agree. Okay, cool. In the ninth house, we have the Five of Swords, and the ninth house is all about expansion, broadening your perspective, higher thinking and higher mind. And this card coming up in this position tells me, Cancer, maybe you're feeling like you haven't been deserving the awards you've been receiving, a bit of imposter syndrome or something like that. If you're not experiencing that, it's about trusting that whatever good's coming your way is well deserved. And I think it's pretty common for people to believe that if something's going really well, it's kind of like, whoa, is this really happening? It's kind of like how I feel like we're going with our podcast as well. I'm like, oh, wow, we're doing it. So maybe leaning into that energy, Cancer, and trusting that it's good things do come your way for a good reason and you deserve them. And let's see what the clarifier says about that too.
Lovely. You've got the Knight of Swords in your ninth house of adventure and call to action and expansion and travel and higher learning and higher mind. And I feel like the Nine of Swords, this rushing energy, it's hungry for this. It wants it. It wanted it yesterday. So there's a sense of urgency around all these things. I think you really want to bust out into expansion. So I would go with this dynamic Knight of Swords energy. Don't hold back. Take the risk. Whatever that expansion means for you, step into that expansion. It's wanted, and there's a lot of momentum that will be behind you when you do step into expansion, whatever that means for you. Expanding into your creative project right now, expanding into a new way of thinking, a new way of being. Yeah, whatever expansion means for you, Cancer, it's really positive. Take the risk.
Yay, so exciting. Okay, and then in the 10th house, we have the Five of Pentacles. I feel like I'm not shuffling my deck properly, but I am. I'm shuffling it heaps between each reading. This card keeps coming up. But in the 10th house, it's about status, reputation, public image. Cancer, be careful of where you're sharing the really beautiful core parts of you that may be exploited by people who don't have your best interests at heart. I know I have been notorious at this in the past, and maybe all of us have been. But when we start to learn how to discern who's healthy for us and who needs to actually see our vulnerability so we can connect more deeply, this is just asking you, pay attention to who may be using that against you. Or if you've been noticing some red flags in someone, actually take that seriously and pay attention to that rather than going, oh, I should be right. So this is your discernment, your decision making. What does the clarifier say how you can do that, Fran?
Just when you were saying that, Emma, I got a flash of inspiration, as I often get from you. And the question that I got for you, Cancer, and for us, because we're Cancerian as well, is this person worthy of you? Whether it's romantically, whether it's worthy of hearing something that you have to share, whether it be superficial or deep. Are they worthy? And I don't mean that in a sense that you're better than or they're lesser than, but yeah, just kind of leaning into that discernment. So a clarifier is the lovers.
Whoa, okay,
Right. So
cool.
is there some love coming in for you in the workplace? So showing up in your 10th house, little lovey poo romance for you there, Cancer. Or could it be that you are falling more in love with yourself in the workplace? So you're able to show up more as your true Cancerian self with all of your gifts and your deep emotional insights and all of the value that you have to bring to that 10th house of career. So yeah, I would really shine your light, because I'm just, as I look down, I'm looking over there because that's where my cards are. The sun's really prevalent in the background, and I feel like you need to shine your light in the workplace, Cancer. You have so much to offer. I think some of you are doing this already, but for those of you that aren't, really shine your light in the workplace. It's going to benefit you. It's going to bring you attention. And I feel that there's perhaps a promotion or some really great payoff that's coming in for you as a result of that.
Nice. Very positive messages there too, Fran. All right. In the 11th house, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So the 11th house is hopes, wishes, and dreams. And the Knight of Pentacles represents steady, like pretty much standing still, unmoving, but surveying the land. So I feel like potentially, even though this card can be one of stuckness, in this position, it's about what are you actually wanting, Cancer? Have you asked yourself that question recently? What would you like? What are you hoping for? And really bringing that into your consciousness, because sometimes we can subconsciously hope for something and that prevents us from taking any positive action towards it. But when you bring that into the light and really become aware of it, you're like, okay, that's where I can make some movement. I can make it happen for myself. Because as much as we can wish for something, all these readings and everything we ever speak about is in concert with you taking action and taking that step towards it too. And that's going to come through your hard work. So let's see what the clarifier says around what that wish may be.
What I got real quick around that, Cancer, is that that card doesn't want to take a risk. But in order to get the wish represented by the 11th house, you have to take the risk. And I get the sense for you that risk equals wish fulfillment. Our clarifier, oh, beautiful, the King of Swords. So the King of Swords, he knows he has the knowledge, skills, ability, wisdom to make something happen. You know, he's got his sword up, he's ready to go. That sword is also about laser-like focus. So bring that focus through and bring the confidence that you, like the King of Swords, you know your stuff. You've got the skills, wisdom, gifts, talents, ability, knowledge. You've got it all. Believe that. And I feel that the wish fulfillment is going to come through. It's very connected to that. Beautiful, Cancer.
Lovely. And then finally in the 12th house, Cancer, we have the Judgment card. So all things hidden, this is the universal mystery, things that you may not be aware of, Cancer. The Judgment card is about call to a new life. And I think particularly maybe looking over the rest of this reading, the new life is around this offer coming through, particularly with the page energy and the Four of Cups that came up in the second house of that, like this hand coming out through the cloud with this new thing, and the Page of Pentacles. There's something that is coming up for you, and maybe, and I'm kind of speaking from personal experience here, but I always thought myself as an opportunist, and lately I've been missing lots of opportunities. I've seen things pop up and I'm just not taking them. And so maybe it's connected to that needing to take a risk with the Knight of Pentacles. Is that your experience too, Cancer? Or if it's not so much, it's about where can you kind of experience this new energy in your life, that it's becoming almost a new way of being, a new way of walking your path. Let's see what the clarifier says there.
Beautiful. You have the Nine of Cups. So this is deep fulfillment. He is resting in a state of fulfillment and contentment. So I get the sense that these opportunities that Em's talking about are going to bring great fulfillment for you. And I also get the sense that this landing in your 12th house of deep spirituality, you're getting a lot of fulfillment from your spiritual work. And I feel like this fulfillment is a little bit like the Ace of Cups, where you start to overflow with it, with that deep sense of fulfillment. So keep doing the spiritual work, Cancer. Really take the risk, really answer the call to action, and it's just going to create this incredible sense of fulfillment and contentment for you. And I feel like some of you are already there. You've taken a step into that, and I feel for others you're just on that precipice. Consider this the push.
Yeah. Nice reading, Cancer. Looking forward to it, and we'll see you at the next fortnight.